Good morning, Greenlawn family. I'm reading from the 100th Psalm. Shout for joy to the Lord, all the earth. Worship the Lord with gladness. Come before him with joyful songs. Know that the Lord is God. It is he who made us, and we are his. We are his people, the sheep of his pasture. Enter his gates with thanksgiving and his courts with praise. Give thanks to him and praise his name. For the Lord is good, and his love endures forever. His faithfulness continues through all generations. His faithfulness continues through all generations. I love that text. I love that psalm. And every time I read it or hear it read, I think about my dear friend Joe Womack. He was a colleague of mine in our doctoral program over 20 years ago. And I'll never forget when he came to me with this text that he had been assigned to go back and speak at his alma mater in a chapel talk, and he wanted to do a really good job. His daddy was the president of that institution, and he wanted to go back and bless the lives of the students and do a really good job and deliver a good message on this text. And so he had been working on it. He shared it with me. We worked on it together, spent time exegeting this text and poring over the text. He committed it to memory. And sure enough, when he went back to his alma mater, he gave a wonderful chapel speech and blessed some lives. But he didn't know what this text was really going to do for his life, because it was several weeks later that he came home in the afternoon after work and pulled up on his front yard where was an ambulance. And he went inside, and there was his wife. His son, Benji, 2 years old, had entered sudden cardiac arrest. His wife was a neonatal intensive care nurse. She was flustered. She was a little bit overwhelmed. And when the expert in the room is overwhelmed, Joe was certainly overwhelmed. She refused to do anything but to ride in the ambulance with Benji to the hospital. And Joe says he was left alone following in his vehicle. And he said he just completely went to pieces. He started crying to beg and plead and pray to God. He reached out to his dad. His dad said, "Son, you got to get it together." And he continued to beg and plead and pray to God. And he said there were no words that would come except the words of this 100th Psalm. And he began to pray, "God, you're good, you're faithful. Your faithfulness continues through all generations." He said Benji is at least the third or the fourth generation of Womacks who have known you and that love you. And we need your help. I desperately need your help. And he prayed through this 100th Psalm. It was the only words that would come. And sure enough, Benji was okay. They never really did figure out why he had entered sudden cardiac arrest. But to this day, he is healthy and sound and is a senior in college and just having a wonderful experience. He is a good man of God. And I share that story with you because I think it so speaks to our life circumstances. When we pour ourselves into a text, when we commit a text to memory, and when we share it with others, it certainly can bless lives and make a difference in their lives. What I know is always the case is it will make a greater it will be a greater blessing in our lives. And we don't know exactly what circumstances God's word might bless us in. But as Isaiah said, it will never return void. It will accomplish what God intends for it to accomplish. And so it may be a blessing in other people's lives, but I guarantee it will always be a blessing in our lives. So give yourself fully to spending time in God's word. Give yourself fully to internalizing it and going even beyond memorizing it, mulling it over. And as the psalmist would say later in the 119th Psalm, "Your word have I hidden in my heart, that I might not sin against you." Have a great day, Greenlawn. Hope that you're blessed.